That night, headlines exploded. Tech mogul Angelo Duvall intervenes in police raid. Billionaire defends street girl. City in shock. Has Duvall lost his mind? The elites whispered in outrage. Shareholders threatened. Angelo's empire trembled. But Angelo didn't waver, because deep inside, he knew something had changed, and he could never go back. The raid had ended. The alley was quiet again, but nothing felt the same. Marisol sat on the curb, rubbing her sore wrist. Her chalk lay broken in half beside her. Isabella crouched beside her. "Are you okay?" Marisol forced a smile. "I've been through worse." But her eyes told a different story. Fear she would never admit. Angelo stood a few steps away, watching. The billionaire who once saw her as dirt, now struggling to find words. Finally, he spoke. "You can't keep teaching here. It's dangerous." Marisol shot him a glare. "So what? You think I should stop? Let these kids grow up with nothing?" "No," Angelo said slowly. "I think you should teach somewhere safe, somewhere bigger, with real books, real resources." Marisol frowned. "What are you talking about?" "I have a foundation, schools, programs. I could give you a place there, a classroom, a salary, protection." The alley gasped. A billionaire offering a street girl a job? But Marisol didn't gasp. She laughed, bitter, sharp. "Why? So you can parade me around, show the world how generous you are, another Duvall charity stunt?" Angelo's face tightened. "That's not what this is." "Then what is it?" she shot back. "You don't even know me." Their eyes locked. The alley seemed to hold its breath. Isabella stepped between them. "She's right, Papa. You don't know her, but I do. She's more than what you see." She turned to Marisol. "And he's more than what he pretends to be." Both father and street girl froze, caught off guard by her words. Angelo exhaled, breaking the silence. "Marisol, I can't change what I've done, or what people think I am. But I can change this. I can give you a chance. And maybe you can give me one too." Whispers turning into stories. Stories turning into headlines. From pavement to classroom, the rise of Marisol. The ripples had begun, and Vilmont would never be the same. Weeks passed. Marisol's classroom grew louder, brighter, fuller. Kids laughed where once they only whispered. They scribbled answers. They raised hands. They believed. And slowly, the city started to believe too. The newspapers called her the miracle teacher. Socialites scoffed, but secretly watched. Even Angelo's rivals couldn't ignore it. It began on a Friday evening. The foundation was glowing with laughter, children running through the halls, Marisol wiping chalk from her hands, Angelo watching quietly from the doorway. Then, crash! A stone shattered the glass. Screams erupted, another stone, another, and then fire. Flames licked up the side of the building. A mob gathered outside, faces hidden, voices chanting. "Blood money! Burn it down!" The past had come to collect its debt. Angelo rushed to the windows. "Get the kids out, now!" Marisol grabbed Isabella's hand, her heart hammering. The hallways filled with smoke. Children coughed, cried, clung to her skirt. She led them through the corridors, her voice steady though her lungs burned. "This way, stay close, don't let go." Behind them, glass shattered, flames spread, alarms wailed. In the chaos, Angelo fought his way through the smoke. He carried 2 children in his arms, his suit jacket catching sparks, his voice hoarse as he shouted orders. For the first time, Marisol saw not the billionaire, but the man who would burn himself to ashes if it meant saving them. They burst out into the night air. The children huddled together, coughing, crying, but alive. Marisol collapsed to her knees, clutching Isabella. Her chest heaved, her hair clung to her face, but she was alive. They all were. And then, a scream. "Marisol!" She turned. The mob had surrounded Angelo. Dozens of masked figures, fists clenched, weapons raised. One man spat at him. "You think you can buy redemption? You think a school erases the blood on your hands?" The crowd surged forward. Marisol's heart twisted. She could run, take Isabella, leave the fire, the chaos, the man whose past was dripping in shadows. But then she remembered the children.
Wide-eyed, terrified, looking to her, waiting for her choice. Marisol stood. Her voice tore through the night. "Stop!" The mob froze. She stepped between Angelo and the crowd, her frame trembling but unyielding. "You hate him? Fine, but don't you dare take it out on us, on them. These children are not his sins. They are his chance to make it right, and mine too." The mob hesitated. Some lowered their stones. Others clenched them tighter. One shouted, "Why protect him? He doesn't deserve it." Marisol's voice cracked, but it carried. "Because none of us deserve anything until we fight for it, and I'll fight for them, even if it kills me." Silence. Only the crackle of flames behind them. Then slowly, one man dropped his stone. Another, and another. The mob began to disperse, melting into the shadows from which they came, not convinced, not forgiven, but shaken. Marisol turned. Angelo was staring at her, ash smeared across his face, eyes blazing with something fierce. Not power, not pride, but gratitude, and something deeper, something he'd never shown anyone. "You saved them," he whispered. Her chest ached. "No," she said, her voice hoarse. "We saved them." The fire gutted the building. Glass shattered, walls collapsed, but the children lived, and with them something stronger than fire survived. Hope. That night, under a sky smeared with smoke and stars, Marisol sat beside Angelo. The city still whispered, still doubted, still judged, but she didn't care. Because in that moment, she realized she hadn't just saved a school, she had changed the course of 2 lives, and maybe an entire city. The foundation was gone. Nothing remained but blackened walls and shattered glass. The air still smelled of smoke, but the children were alive. And in the silence of that morning, survival felt like victory. The city woke to headlines. "Fire at Duval Foundation. Billionaire nearly killed in riot. Teacher protects children in the blaze." For once, Angelo's name wasn't just followed by scandal. It was tied to something different, something he hadn't felt in years. Respect. Marisol walked the ruins the next day. Her bare feet crunched over glass and ash. Each corner still carried echoes of laughter, of chalk scribbles, of a dream briefly alive. Her heart broke, but she refused to cry, because in her chest burned the same fire that had nearly consumed them all, the fire of resolve. "Papa," Isabella whispered, tugging at Angelo's sleeve as they stood together among the ruins, "will you rebuild?" The old Angelo, the one who counted profits, not people, would have dismissed the idea, too costly, too risky. But the man who had carried children through fire, He looked at Marisol. Her eyes asked the same question Isabella's lips did. "Yes," he said at last. His voice cracked like glass but carried like thunder. "Yes, we'll rebuild together." And they did. Not with glass towers or steel beams, but with hands, with hearts. The community came forward, brick by brick, plank by plank. Mothers painted walls, fathers lifted beams, children carried books. For the first time, the city wasn't divided by wealth and poverty. For the first time, they built something side by side. Months later, the new school opened. The walls were brighter, the classrooms fuller, the laughter louder. Marisol stood at the chalkboard, her hands white with dust. She turned and saw Angelo at the back, Isabella beside him, clapping with the children. The billionaire who had once lived only in shadows now stood in sunlight. But change is never simple. The city still judged, his enemies still plotted. Her struggles were far from over. Yet in that moment, none of it mattered, because hope had taken root, and hope, once planted, was impossible to burn. That night, Marisol stood on the rooftop of the school. She looked over the city, its lights glittering like stars against the darkness. The world was still broken, still cruel. But beneath her feet, in the laughter rising from the classrooms, she heard a truth stronger than fire, glass, or wealth. That even in ashes, dawn always comes.